In this video, I'm going to turn Barcelona players into Avengers characters. So far, 4 Avengers movies have been released, and for this design, I want to use one of the posters from these movies as a reference. When we look at the posters in general, except for the first film, all of them use a floating head style design. The first Avengers poster, on the other hand, has a more dynamic composition where the characters are standing on the ground. That's why I'll be using the first movie poster as my main reference. The players need to have the same pose as their characters on the poster, but I won't be able to find them ready like that, so I'll create each pose one by one and then apply the outfits. Now that we have planned everything, we can start the design. Sit back because it's going to be a long process. If you haven't watched this video, I explain in detail how I do this process there. For example, right now I'm creating Captain America pose. I'm trying to match it exactly by looking at the reference image. This part takes some time because getting the exact pose really takes effort. Think about it, I will have to do this 5 times. To create the shield, I open a sphere like this, then stretch it. As you can see, it looks like a shield. It's just a placeholder for now, I will change it later anyway. That's done. Now I will create the poses for the other characters. Since I'm doing the same things again, I will skip this part. And this is how it looks in the end. By the way, I've shared these poses in my Discord server, you can find them there. Now let's move on to Photoshop. But before we do that, I need to decide which player will be placed in which character's pose. Let's start with Captain America. I want to assign Frankie de Jong to Captain America since he is the team captain and also resembles Captain America. I think he is the best choice. I thought of 2 names for Hulk, Araujo and Pau Cubarsí. Both fit the Hulk character as well, but personally I think Araujo suits more. Of course, that's a matter of opinion. Maybe many of you think Cubarsí fits better. Sorry about that. Now let's move on to Thor. I think Lewandowski perfectly fit this character, so this part was easy for me. That leaves Iron Man and Hawkeye. I want to use Lamine Yamal and Rafinha for these, but who should be which character? Iron Man is basically the main character in the Avengers series, and Lamine Yamal seems like the most fitting. But I also consider appearance, and I think Rafinha suits Iron Man better, both in beard style and his role in the team, so Rafinha will be Iron Man and Max Yamal Hawkeye. Alright, now that we have decided which player will be which character, we can move into Photoshop and begin the long process. I adjust the poses one by one. They are looking better now. I will start with Iron Man, which means I'm creating Rafinha. I will use the neck part from this photo of Rafinha because his face isn't quite right in this one. Let's place that. This other photo is more suitable for the face, but the direction of his eyes is different from Tony Stark's in the reference. So first, I need to change the direction of his eyes. I make the eyes fully white, then slide the round part of the eye that I copied earlier to the right. The way it looks like Rafinha is looking to the right. After handling the small details, I can cut and place the head. Once I erase the excess parts, it looks like this. Pretty good. I will get the jersey from this image because the angle is perfect. I'm placing it and adjusting it using Liquify. I'm taking the arms from this image and fix the shape with warp. I can't create Iron Man's hand myself, so I just cut it directly from the poster and place it. The sleeve doesn't look good, so I grab it from this image and use warp to fix it. After this, it's the same process, cutting parts from images that match the pose, placing them and adjusting with warp or Liquify. Once all the parts are placed, Rafinha is done. Now I will add shadows and lighting. To help with shading and lighting, I place the pose I created in Magic Poser on the right side. This helps me see where the light and shadows should be. All I need to do is paint those parts. One of the most asked questions I get, what brush do you use? I use Photoshop's regular round brush, just set the flow 5 and start painting. From here, it's up to your painting skills. I look at the reference and try to match it. There are some techniques for painting. I will make a detailed tutorial series about this in the future and you will learn it really fast. I'm painting the rest of the body based on the reference pose as well. That's all I do. After the shading and lighting are done, Rafinha looks like this. Now I'll do the same process to create the other 4 players.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Let's continue with Thor. First I place his head, then I place the arm. Again adjusting with Liquify. I place the torso part of the jersey. To form the lower body, I use this image. Cut and place the left leg first, then the right leg. Again, I'm fixing the edges with Liquify. By the way, the full version of this design as a speed art is available on my Patreon page. If you become a Fast Learner member, you can watch all the speed art videos. Finally, there's Thor's hammer. I didn't want to take it from the poster, so I found 2 images like this. I'll use the handle from the first one and the head from the second one. Looks better this way. I'm combining them and place the hammer. You know what's next, light and shadow. Again, I'm placing the pose on the side as a reference and begin painting. First, I'm painting roughly, then refine the details. I especially define the shape of the light first and fill it in. That way I move faster. I'm adding light and shadows to the rest of the body too. And Lewandowski, it's done. Looks nice. From this point on, I will show the steps more briefly since it's the same process. I don't wanna bore you. Now moving to Yamal. Again, I cut and place parts from different images and form Yamal's body. Then I add this bow I downloaded from Envato. I'm taking the hands directly from the poster because finding matching hands is too hard. Once I place everything, I'm adding the shading and lighting. Once that's done, it looks like this. Now on to De Jong. I'm cutting and placing all body parts. I'm cutting the shield from the poster, but I will customize it. First, I remove the star in the middle and place Barcelona's logo. Then I'm changing the color of the lines. After that, I'm adding shadow and lighting. And this one's done too. I forgot to add Iron Man's arch reactor. Let's do that quickly. And of course, Thor has a cape. I found something like this for it. After adding shadow and light, it looks good. I know Hulk is the only one left, but I'll do him after building the environment. For the broken stone in the front, I will use this image. I place it and adjust it using warp. I don't want to spend too much time on the background, so I used AI to generate this backdrop. Of course, I won't use his edits, it needs a lot of editing. First, I increase the brightness using levels, because it looks too dark. Then I'm adjusting the colors. Let's not forget the image we place in the front. I'm reducing its brightness and adjusting the color and light to match the reference. I'm adding the stones that De Jong will stand on and erase the excess parts. Again, I'm adjusting light and color. There is an overturned car in the background. This image will work. I will change the sky in the background, so I'm erasing the extra parts. Now I can add a new sky. The car should like it's embedded among the rocks, so I erase the excess. Then adjust the light and color. For the sky, I will combine multiple images. I'm aiming for a dramatic and cloudy look. I also add the orange-yellow light at the bottom. I didn't want to add the original Avengers building, but the area looked empty, so I added it. Looking at the reference, it doesn't quite match. First, I'm adding the light rising in the sky and using blending options to remove the dark parts. There's a light hitting the left side of building, I'm adding that too. The tip of the building looks off. I paint over to match the reference. Now it looks much better. Looking at the buildings, they appear very dark. In the poster you can see light hitting them. To recreate that, I select the front parts of the buildings and add light. Even now it already looks good. With some blending adjustments, it looks even better. Just like that. I'm doing the same thing for the buildings on the left. Comparing before and after, the background looks way better. Now I'll turn Araujo into Hulk. I tried different ways, but none of them worked as I wanted, so I'll just use the Hulk from the poster and swap the head. No need for the mouth area, so I erase it. Then I turn the skin green. I decided to paint it myself because the other methods were taking too long. I sample colors from the left and paint. That's all. The result looks pretty good. Of course, I'm changing the color of his shorts too. The small details matter. Now I return to background again. I'm adding the firelight from the right side fire onto the building. On the left, I will add this running building. To give more of a warlike atmosphere, I paint over it to make it look damaged. Much better. And finally, I'm adding the remaining small details like dust, particles, smoke and fire sparkles. And with that, the design, which took around 15 hours to complete, it's finished. Honestly, this might be the best work I ever done. I tried to include even the tiniest details. I did my best to create an atmosphere similar to an Avengers poster, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed both the design and video. See you in the next one.